y'all, welcome back to Dots and Beyond. I'm Beth. Today we are going to do a plan with me for February 26th through March 3rd. Let's go ahead and get started. First of all, hi. It's been a minute, and those of you who are regular watchers know that I was supposed to move the weekend of the 16th, 17th, and 18th of February. These were my moving dates. And on Thursday evening, while I was at this event, I received a phone call from our property managers stating that the apartment I was supposed to be moving into had a very big water leak. And it wasn't even behind the drywall, like it was in the concrete, and they were drilling and they've replaced carpet. I watched the carpet go in because I'm moving from one apartment in the same complex to another apartment in the same complex. I've seen all the renovations going on, and our move ended up getting pushed by 2 weeks. Last week I did a quick plan with me for myself. You can tell it's very empty. There was a lot just up in the air. In the midst of all of this, I've had multiple large events. My son had eye surgery. Thank you all for your well wishes. It went perfectly fine and great, so that's good for us. One stressor out of the way. I've written reschedule AT&T, reschedule Entergy, because at first we thought we were going to be able to move in this weekend that I'm filming, and that obviously wasn't going to happen with all the renovations taking place in that other apartment. Life just gets in the way, y'all. It just gets in the way sometimes. It's been in the way a lot for us since late November when we all got COVID, and then I had a spine thing, and then my son needed surgery, and it's just been a lot. We are going to set up for this week here. For me, this still falls in February because 4 days of the week are in February and only 3 are in March. So we're going to keep our pink theme. Obviously, Catherine with Sterling Ink also counts her months and weeks this way because she still has a 2 here for February on this week. We're going to go ahead and get this set up. I don't really know what it's going to look like. I don't have any washi tape. My washi tape is packed away. I have the remnants of my planner kit that I've been cutting apart and using here in my planner because I keep those tucked back in the back. But my washi tape is packed away. I've had to get out materials to print my March planner kit. That video is coming like tomorrow because we're just going to batch film these. I've had to put filming equipment back up. I was ready to move, and I've been living in limbo, and most of my supplies are packed away. So we're working with what we have, and we're just going to get this done without any washi tape or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and put in these headers. Tell me, have you ever had just a whole 2 or 3 months just derail in your life? For whatever reason, be it minor illness or major illness, I can say that I'm blessed. It hasn't been anything more severe. I feel that we were blessed that the leak in the walls took place before we moved in, so I didn't have to deal with any property damage and renter's insurance and all of that sort of thing. I was very grateful for that. The timing was terrible. I'm already paying for the electric in that apartment because the call came so late that night. Entergy, our electric company here in Arkansas, was already set up. They were closed, of course, when I tried to reach them on Thursday, late that Thursday night. And then when I called the next morning, they're like, oh, we've already turned it on. Working that out with my property manager as far as prorating the rent because I am already paying for the electric, and I'm paying for the electric while all the renovations take place. So there were like blowers pulling a lot of electricity to dry the ground and all of that. So we're working through it. We're working through it. The timing was just absolutely terrible, and yet I'm very grateful that it happened before we moved in. And hopefully it is solved to the point where there won't be any recurrence after we move in, because that's always a possibility, of course. We've been living in limbo, and the struggles just continue to keep coming. Those of you who are aware of my son Kenny, who is an adult, he moved back in with me during COVID because he moved home from Colorado. He has moved out. We timed our moves at the same time. He still moved out last weekend and in with his significant other. And then he got sick almost immediately. He's got COVID. Again, we all had COVID in November. So we're all hoping that we don't catch it again. It's just been one hit after another. It's just not like anything I've ever experienced in my life, y'all, to just kind of have like boom, 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 boom. Dominoes fall of incident after incident after incident. All right, which one of these do I want to use? If you missed the February plan with me, I designed my pink planner kit here off of the inspiration of my childhood home of Kenya, and it's been really fun for me to revisit that. And of course, you don't think of pink when you think of going on safari and those sorts of things. It was a fun juxtaposition to do pink and Kenya together. And there we go. We'll slap this February in here. You might hear Faramir, one of the Dots and Beyond felines, yell at me. They're also feeling discombobulated because they can tell something's going on. They've moved several times with us already, so they know something's up, and boxes everywhere, and they don't like, well, Faramir doesn't like the cardboard. Awen has this addiction with trying to peel the tape off of cardboard boxes and then chew on it. That's always a fun thing to deal with. I don't know what that's all about, but he keeps coming in here and yelling at me. All right, like I said, I don't have any washi tape. It is all packed away, and normally I stick some dividery bits in here. I am gonna go ahead and put in the little spot where I would normally write my co-star horoscope for the week. Just one of those things that helps keep me grounded. It's always some decent advice, actually. This one said, "Your way of no longer remaining the same is by definition the most singular part of who you are." Which I liked. Oops. Now we've smudged. We're gonna leave it. I'm not even gonna cover that. I will get that email sometime today. I am filming this on Sunday morning. I really thought I was gonna get filmed yesterday, but Kenny called and I needed to take him to urgent care. That's when he decided he was sick enough to go to urgent care. He didn't feel like he could drive. His significant other was at work. So then my whole day got derailed by still taking my kid to urgent care and finding out he's got COVID. And of course, then my other son was like, "Were you both masked in the car?" And yes, we were both masked in the car. It's been a whole thing. So Monday, I am going to work at work. Tuesday is normally a work from home day. I do have a small event I need to do, so I'm just going to go ahead and work at work. Wednesday, I'm going to switch my work from home days. I'm going to work from home if I can pull it off. Thursday and Friday, I'm taking off. Originally, on our planned move week, I was taking off Friday. I did have some appointments. AT&T got canceled, obviously. And then the rest of the day was moving. Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday we're moving. And then Monday was a holiday. It was President's Day here in the US. So it gave me 4 days. I'm going to go ahead and take 4 days on the 1st, which is Thursday. And I guess it all lines out rent-wise now that what lands on the 1st. I'm going to go get the keys and all of that sort of thing. Friday, Saturday, Sunday are moving. And then Monday I'll go back to work. How do I want to do this? We're going to go ahead and write work, remote, and figure out some items from there. Since I don't have the washi tape, I'm going to draw a solid line down my work hours. So from 8 to 5. And then we'll just come in with a dot marker and make a little bubble where I have appointments. And I don't have a lot of meetings this week as of yet. Hopefully it stays that way. I think everybody at work knows how frustrated I am right now. I've been juggling a lot and how the move got changed. They're very much aware. On Monday, we'll put a dot on the noon time so that I can take lunch, and then I have a meeting at the 2 o'clock. On a Tuesday, I have an appointment with a new primary care physician. In the midst of all of this craziness, I've also been changing my primary care physician. Leave room for lunch as well. That small event I have is there, and then I have a meeting there, but I can do that remotely, and I have a meeting there as well. I actually kind of like that. I like that line, the dots. But we're going to let them dry a little bit, and then I'm going to come back in and write what those are. In the meantime, we will come down here because I had started putting in my weather. Now, we did learn that using my Ohuhu marker here with the fine tip it was smudging all over the place. So last week I changed to just my pen, and we are going to do that again. It is warm. I'm not complaining about it. Y'all know that. Let's do a gold line. Separate our weather down here. I've talked pretty extensively about how my seasonal effectiveness disorder and then just my general equatorial blood prefers the warmth. And it has been unseasonably warm, and it's going to continue. You'll will see that when we put that in here. I used to not put my weather in my planner, and I said something to a coworker recently about putting weather in my planner, and he was like, "You do what?" He really was baffled by this idea that I would take the time to write down the weather each week. I said, "Well, I'm terrible at checking it day of." This definitely gives me at least an eyeball of what the week will look like so that I have it in my noggin, because I'm always the one that is surprised when we have a tornado warning or a thunderstorm seemingly comes out of nowhere, and it hasn't come out of nowhere. It's been forecast all week. So I started keeping the weather in my planner, and then of course I constantly joke around about how here in Arkansas it changes so rapidly that what I'm writing in today is probably going to be fine for tomorrow, but it's not going to be fine by the time we get to the end of the week. It will have changed completely. All right, that's a cloudy day. That's a cloudy day. This is mostly cloudy. So we'll stick a little bit of sunshine here. It's going to cool off a little bit midweek, but for most of the week, we are going to be having highs in the 70s. I do Fahrenheit here. I have no idea what the Celsius is. That's one of those things that I never jumped on that bandwagon when we were growing up on the equator in Kenya. I never could figure out the ratio between Celsius and Fahrenheit. I have friends who are very good at it. They can tell for sure. I'm not one of them at all. It's one of the distinctly American things that has stuck with me is using Fahrenheit as my temperature gauge. Maybe if I moved back overseas as an adult, I would default to figuring out Celsius. As you can see, we're gonna almost hit 80 degrees Fahrenheit Monday and Tuesday. The sweaters are starting to go away. I use this one to film. I keep it on my filming chair. And then it's gonna rain Tuesday, Wednesday night, not during the day, but during the night. Bring the temperature down a little bit for a couple of days, and then we're going right back up, which is fine with me because again, I have to move, and I would much rather have mild sunny temperatures than ice and snow, which it could be at the end of February, early March. All right, let's go ahead and write in these appointments. I messed one of them up. This one is supposed to say lunch and not meeting, and we're just gonna leave it there. Okay, I lied. I am fixing it. So this is a teeny piece of sticky washi paper. I print my planner kit on washi sticker paper. It doesn't completely cover up meeting, but it covers it enough that I can write over it a little bit better, and it doesn't look quite as messy because I don't have any correction tape nearby at this point at all, for obvious reasons with the move. Then I wrote my new PCP appointment in the wrong spot. I need to fix it, which is why I decided to fix the other one. I said, if I'm going to fix the one, I'm going to fix the other. As you can see, you can barely see through it, but it does lighten it up enough for me to be able to write over it there, and it's not quite so noticeable. We're just a big mess here, as you can tell. Let's look at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What I think I'm going to do here is put in some moving to-do list sort of things. So we're going to write in moving, give myself an arrow so that we know that is what's going on this entire time. And I'm going to give myself some reminders of what I want this weekend to look like in regards to the move. On Thursday, I am going to go pick up the keys to the new place, do all of that, exchanging of mailbox keys, apartment keys, that sort of thing. We are going to go ahead and go over there and measure things and put down shelf liner and drawer liner, all of that. Start moving in some small boxes. I want to clean everything, take my rugs over, small boxes over. I'm meeting AT&T on Thursday. We're just going to write in some of those things, and then it's going to progressively get bigger from there. The only piece of big furniture we are going to move into the place on Thursday would be my headboard. I have a king size bed. It is quite sizable. My headboard, it's enormous. And this apartment essentially has 2 master bedrooms. And I am trying to decide whether I want the one on ground level, and then when you come into my apartment, you go down some stairs because it's built on a hill, or if I want the one downstairs. I kind of want the one downstairs because then the upstairs would be kitchen, living, dining, office. It would all just be sort of those public spaces, right? And then both the other bedrooms would be downstairs. I don't know if my king headboard is going to make it down the stairs and then the curve that it needs to make. So the first piece of furniture we're going to try to move in is that king headboard so that decision gets made, because a lot of the other boxes, whether they're going to the office or whether they're going to my bedroom, depend on whether that headboard makes that transition or not. So if we can get it down the stairs, then my bedroom will be downstairs. If we can't, then my bedroom will be upstairs, and that will be just fine. That's the logic behind it. So you'll see me put headboard on this list, and then the other furniture will fall later on. While those dots dry, we've gone back to HelloFresh deliveries for 2 people. And so I'll have a HelloFresh delivered on Tuesday. We'll have 4 dinners for the week. I think I'm going to do those on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to skip Friday, Saturday because it'll be too hectic. And then hopefully by Sunday, we'll be moved back into the other apartment and we can do the HelloFresh dinner there. So I'm going to go ahead and jot those in while these gold dots dry. I am probably going to think of some other things that I want to write in here. One of the things we are going to do, because of course my grown boys are helping me do this move, my ex-husband is actually going to come help me do this move. We're friendly enough that we can do that. Saturday night, we'll stop at some point and engage in some takeout and a game night to end out the night. It will probably run late. When we do game nights, they typically run very, very late. Then we'll get up on Sunday and wrap up anything that needs to be wrapped up. I did put in our dinners, cayenne chicken on Tuesday. These are the shortened versions of the HelloFresh descriptions, steak and broccoli. And I put them in priority of the prep. Inevitably, there will still be more things that I need to buy. We're going to go ahead and put in a base for a shopping list specific to moving needs. I have already picked up more command strips, and I have picked up shelf liner and lots of those things, but I'm sure something else will pop up that I need to run to Walmart or a hardware store or somewhere to get those things. We'll go ahead and stick that here, and I just put a $sign next to it to indicate what that is going to be. I do have some deliveries coming. Let's go ahead and put those in on Tuesday. We'll do it down here on the late night hours. I have an Amazon delivery coming, some of those other things that I need for the move, and HelloFresh will be delivered on Tuesday. And on Thursday is when I need to make sure that I get my HelloFresh order in for the following week. All right, let's add in some decoration, shall we? I still have some florals left. I still have some non-florals, like this one's already cut out, so we're gonna use it. I print mine on washi paper. These are not stickers that can just be peeled. I guess if you have a Cricut, you could format these to do that. I haven't done that for you. I just do it the old-fashioned way with scissors. I don't think that I'll ever do physical stickers. I mean, never say never, right? But for now, these are just a printable. They are available on my Patreon if you would like to go check those out. And we will be launching the kit for March tomorrow. We'll go ahead and get that ready to go. Right, that is it for the weekly. I'll put in my little horoscope thing here like I do every week once I receive that email. I actually feel far more centered now than I did last week when I did do this one. I think I did it on Tuesday afternoon after Kyle's surgery. I felt discombobulated the whole week. We're just feeling like we're all over the place here as things have been up in the air. But what I do need to do is my weekly list for my 52 lists project. Now I did do list 8, which was a fun one for me. List 7 was list all the people in your life who make you happy. I'm not going to share that list because it's got people's first and last names on it. But list your favorite quotes. What do they have in common? Choose a theme to incorporate into your week. I have a quote repository. I have an old commonplace book before I think we were ever even calling them commonplace books that I kept, even when my kids were little, that had favorite quotes from movies and books and television shows. Some of those I have moved into a Notion database. As I have gone along in my reading journal and I write down quotes, I also put those in my Notion database. I have quotes everywhere. 100 years ago, I had a pretty popular blog that was called Living a Quotable Life. It's no longer there. It's down. I've archived it, so I can access it in text format if I need to, but I did eventually take it down, and every single entry in that blog started with a quote. So quotes literally everywhere, and picking favorites was like, really? You want me to pick favorites? But there are a few in here. There is in every true woman's heart a spark of heavenly fire, which lies dormant in the broad daylight of prosperity, but which kindles up and beams and blazes in the dark hour of adversity. I can't read my own handwriting. That's Washington Irving. Do not mistake me for my mask. You see light dappling on the water and forget the deep, cold, dark beneath. That is from Patrick Rothfuss in his books. I lost a great innocence when I understood that I and my mind were not going to be on good terms for the rest of my life. That's from Kay Redfield Jamison, who also lives with bipolar disorder, and her memoir about living with bipolar disorder. That which is dreamed can never be lost, can never be undreamed. Neil Gaiman. I have a lot of them in here. Most of them have something to do with contentment and life and mental health. Whatever I am, let it be enough. That's from V.E. Schwab and her Shades of Magic series. Everything had been hard for me. I mastered hard. Now I wanted joy. And that's Viola Davis. And this is where I am in my life. Things have been hard. Really looking forward to some joy. Not just in the last 10 to 12 weeks that have been particularly difficult, but leading up to this point in my life. So that's list 8. And we are ready to do list 9. I am going to leave some space for this week. It's probably going to be light. On Friday, all I did was write about a psychiatry appointment that I had. We'll go ahead and do list 9, and then I'll probably leave 3 pages for the week for me to journal in. It has been very difficult motivation-wise to use my journal, again, with everything being so crazy. And those are the times when you need to use it the most, and I find that those are the times that all of us start having that mental block, and we don't use our planners, we don't use our journals when things get chaotic and we need them the most. As I've been shuffling things around, I had misplaced my list headers. We'll go ahead and get list 9 put in. If you're new here, I don't look ahead. I do not know what list 9 says. We're gonna find out together. Stick that right there. It's a little wonky, but it will be fine. This is the book that we are using for our 52 lists project by Moriah Seal. There's a lot of branch offs of this book. This is the original one, but there's 2, 3, 4 others that you can pick up as well. And we are going to jump ahead to, there's list 8, our favorite quotes. And I've chosen not to journal them in here so I can share this book with someone else at another time. List 9, list the things you treasure most. How can you actively honor the things and people you love most? Spend time this week thinking of ways to surround yourself with treasured items, people, etc. Over the last few years, I've actually gotten to the point where things are things. I don't really treasure things. I am a maximalist in my decor. I have a lot of shit. But am I particularly attached to things, maybe other than my journals, because they just have a lot of sentimentality in them? As far as people, well, we did that on list 7. List all the people who brighten your day. I don't know what this is going to look like for me. We're going to put it in, and it might be a list of 2 or 3 things, and perhaps I will come up with a list of 5 or 10. I just don't think I'm not going to repeat the people because that's just redundant. I'm not going to do that. But list the things you treasure most, and we'll go ahead and get that written in. Honestly, this is going to be things like my books. I'm a librarian's daughter. I do love my books. And the Dots and Beyond felines, Fairmere and Awen, will probably make this list. Other than that, like I said, I'm not attached to jewelry. I'm not attached to furniture. I mean, it would suck if everything caught on fire and it all burned to the ground kind of situation. But things are things. And when you go through a lot in your life, you come to understand that. So again, while I am by no means a minimalist, by no means a minimalist, I'm far more in that boho global, I have a lot of stuff everywhere kind of vibe than I am minimalist. But a lot of it has been thrifted, a lot of it has been purchased on travels. It can all be replaced. It can all be replaced. I will come up with something for list 9. We will look at it hopefully next week. I do not know if I am going to hop in here on maybe Wednesday night and go ahead and try to do a plan with me for the following week so that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when I'm moving, maybe Saturday night or Sunday, I can manage to get it edited and thrown up, or we might not have a video next week, y'all. It just completely depends on how this move goes. If not, then we will be back in March and I'll be moved. And I'll have an office where my space is not a corner shoved in my room, which is where we are now, because I'll have more space. I'll have an office. I'll have it unpacked. And it'll be a little bit easier for me to film each week. It'll be easier for me to work from home and do all of those things that having that third bedroom that I can use as an office is going to afford us. Thanks so much to my patrons for hanging in there with me. I launched a Patreon at what I could not possibly have known was going to be the worst possible timing in my life to launch a Patreon. So those patrons who jumped on board at the beginning, you just don't know how much I appreciate you. And we will be back up and running as soon as I can get past this move. If you liked this video, you know what to do. Give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you for the March Plan with Me.